Good morning, welcome to the Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 28th of June. Starting with the euro dollar, and well, yesterday we put in a daily pivot swing there, bearish signal. But as we head south here towards the prior lows there is a bit of a line in the sand around about that 115 area. We'll see how we progress, if we can push and continue pushing in that direction. Momentum continued to pick up here on these 4 hours. We're through a little bounce on the weekly S1 yesterday, but that's now broken, and we're most likely going to close through that. Maybe on some time frames here we're getting a little bit oversold at the moment, so initial reaction this morning is just to wait a short while, see what happens. We do have the daily pivot, which is up higher, and there's always the potential, the probability is good for the pivot to be hit. The shape of the price action here, if we start seeing a move towards that, I'd be less inclined to trade it, maybe selling into the 60.21. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to jump aboard when the market's moved down as it has. There may be short-term rallies to be traded, but must tread carefully with these. Between a rock and a hard place at the moment now in terms of potential. Still the potential obviously for the downside, looking towards say that 115 area ties in nicely with the daily S1 as well, so just really watching that. Okay, that's the euro. The pound's already broken some lows. Let's come back to the dailies here. I should probably just come out on the weeklies on some of these, because there are some sort of key areas which are pivotal areas on the pound, which are just coming up. We're coming up to now on this monthly picture, also weekly picture. There's prior highs, lows sort of sat around that sort of area. It's quite a key support area we're coming to on that weekly. We're on the weekly 100 as well. So there is some support around where we're sitting here. The daily 500, no surprises there then, and the monthly S1. So there's quite a bit of support. Now again, it's a case pretty much like the euro, it's just sold and sold, but it's where next, and this shape again, it on the short term may be oversold, so really I'd like to sell into any retracements, and half decent retracements it needs to be. Arguably there'll be some divergence at the lows here on this 60 minutes, so again all things may point towards, we'll either have a short-term trade to the upside potentially if there's anything sets up, but I know the probability is good for these pivots, but it may be just, as I said, a touch too far to expect them to be hit, but we'll have to play it as the day rolls out. Dollar yen, let's come back to dailies here as a weekly view here. I mean, it's looking okay for continued upside there as well towards the trend line there. The daily wise, it's been a bit of a chop during the Asian session, but not massively. It's going in the right direction. I say it's not through the Asian session. I'm looking at dailies here, a bit of chop during the daily sessions, but off it's pushing again this morning. So at the moment, pushing up there, maybe to the weekly R1 sort of area. Again, coming down to 60 minute already through its daily pivot, so it's it pulled back quite a bit through that Asian session there, strengthened quite a bit, but then off it's gone again. So pushing up at the moment towards yesterday's highs, maybe the S1. Right, okay, that's the yen, Aussie dollar. Whoops, let's get the Aussie dollar on here. So Aussie dollar on the dailies here has just come back. Is there anything I need to see on this weekly? Not really. The weekly is selling off well below that prior trend line there. Let's have a look here. So there is a bit of divergence on the dailies was yesterday, should I say, kicking in on the close of yesterday, but still looking like it's going to continue in that downside. Along with the New Zealand dollar, there's still potential weakness on these pairings. And well, you could see at the moment we're heading down towards that weekly S2. There's not a lot more to do here on this one. It's already caught the daily pivot. That would have been nice if you was trading through the Asian session, through your own session for those Australians. Nice sell point around the 21 there, 60.21 daily pivot, but it's sold off quite strongly in the last 8 hours. So well, actually it was running into yesterday, wasn't it? I'm just looking, no, 60-minute, it was through the early hours, just checking. Okay, so where next? Well, as I said, maybe down to that weekly S2. Bit of a bitty old day yesterday, chop it, and this is what you get with the Australian dollar when you're trying to trade it often. I mean, it did fold over, but it folded quite early, but then rallied, would have stopped most people out in terms of trying to trade it. It can be choppy, as can the Canadian dollar at the moment, and this is just, I don't really need to go past this chart, do I? Leave it alone. Okay, that's it. News-wise today, we've got day one of the economic summit. European Economic Summit starts today, so we could be getting notes coming out on the Eurozone all day. There's quite a few issues to be discussed, including migration, security, defence, and the economy, which will include Brexit somewhere along the line, I'm sure. We'll see the reactions and hear the reactions more to Brexit than anything else, but obviously migration is a significant point of the conversation. So final GDP in the US at 130. Sorry, I did ignore the German CPI coming out with prelim CPI. We've already had the flash data already, so but we will have the German, the 6 states of Germany that report. These do create a little bit of volatility, and they run through to midday, so they'll be out this morning. Staggered approach on that one. And we got the Spanish CPI, which is not really doesn't have any significance on the euro, unfortunately, or fortunately. There we go. And then 130 US final GDP. Now, of course, for these final figures, they've already been released. We've seen 2 versions beforehand. This is the 3rd version. So it's the one that gets the least amendments, although it does, with the US, they've got so many beans to count, it does take a lot, those bean counters, a bit longer, and often there's a variation. So we may see a variation at 130 there, and then we've got a couple of speakers. We've got an MPC speaker speaking at 2:30 this afternoon, speaking at the Academy of Social Sciences annual lecture in London. That's perhaps not going to have quite such an impact I thought it might have had. And an FOMC speaker at 5 p.m. Due to speak about affordable housing and jobs and central working families in Atlanta. So, well, I don't think those two are going to do too much retrospectively. I wouldn't have even talked about them. Anyway, there we are. Have a great one. Oh, and England are playing tonight. So there we go. Keep the old televisions on for that. Bye for now.